Okay, well, let's start this off. Let's get off of that. So, hello, welcome back. I kept a little thing I started here, and uh, so, uh, welcome to my channel. We will chat about anything and everything, uh, because that's me. I like to talk about anything, everything. Uh, there is. I think of myself as pretty well educated, even though I have no formal education besides the tech school. But we can chat about anything and everything. I tend to like to talk a lot about politics, but politics can lead you down a lot of different fucking roads out there. Lots of different rules, because once you realize that politics play into everything, I mean, from churches to groceries to everything. It all revolves around politics. So, but and here I am trying to decipher the truth from fiction and bringing to light myths that aren't myths at all. They're actually truths, and seeking justice. But I do like to start everything off with a nice funny meme because I do like laughter. Everybody should laugh at one point in time. You know, it brings your spirits up. So, um, kind of a funny here, double scotch in the rocks because you got two Scottish Terriers on a rock. Well, it's just one rock, but usually if you're drinking scotch, it's just one single ice cube. Well, two, three is terrible. So, anyway, what should we talk about? Well, we got this the Federal Reserve, and in my opinion, the Federal Reserve should have been it should never exist. It's been the downfall to our nation ever since it was enacted in 1913. Um, but right now, we're fighting the Fed because the Fed does not want to lower the interest rates, even though lowering our interest rates would tremendously help the economy. Um, right now, I know they're talking about next month here, well, in a few days here, they're going to have another meeting, a week or two, and supposedly they're going to cut it, a quarter of a point, 0.25%, which isn't a lot, but it's not enough. We actually should be at a lot lower. It should cut it by at least 1 point, if not a point and a half. 2 points is kind of pushing it, but a point to a point and a half, I think, would be optimal. You're talking about that would open up the housing market. I know we've got a lot of projects coming into the U.S. as far as businesses going and wanting to build and expand. I mean, we can go here within the next 10 years or so, 10, 15 years, go back to being the world's number one manufacturer. You know, we invented all the stuff that China's making for us. We first made that here. It's not like they um, came up with all this stuff. A lot of this stuff is ours. But anyway, we get into the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve, these people are all corrupt. We've had a couple of them resign, these governors of the different areas. And now we got one that, well, she got in trouble for mortgage fraud and has had uh, her referred to the Department of Justice for criminal charges, because she said she was, um, her address was, she had listed her out of state Atlanta condo as her primary residence just 2 weeks after taking a loan on her Michigan home, which she also claimed as her primary residence. So when it's not your primary residence, yeah, the interest rates could be different and all that stuff. The bank needs to know that. So what you have is mortgage fraud. Um, it's the same thing that's going on with Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff right now is currently under federal investigation for mortgage fraud because he said that his Maryland home and his California homes were both his primary residence. Same with Letitia James. She's under focus for this because she had taken out a loan claiming her dad was her spouse on a building that said that it only occupied 4 people, but it actually, or four apartments. It actually has 5 apartments, so it's lying on to get a better mortgage rate, plus using your dad, and there's other stuff to it. And you hear people bitching and complaining, why this is stupid shit. Why are we going after them for that? I mean, especially Letitia James and her, rightfully so, she should be disbarred for even running on the fact that you were you campaigned and won on the fact that you were going to get somebody. That's weaponizing your position, and that is actually grounds to be disbarred. But hey, why would they disbar this crazy ass cunt? So, um, but and Adam Schiff with all his leaking, and there might be other criminal charges, but we got to that remember Al Capone, even though we know pretty much beyond a shadow of a doubt, 99.9% know that he had ordered murders and probably murdered people himself, and racketeering and stuff like that. But what did they end up getting him on? Tax fraud. We locked him up for tax fraud. We got a lot of mobsters because of tax fraud. We couldn't get the charges for murder and conspiracy to commit murder and some of these RICO charges to really stick. But when the IRS can make up their own goddamn rules, it seems like in any given time, and Congress helps them out by changing tax codes and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets hard. You get tripped up, and bam, they got you, and that's hilarious. But that's the way it works. If we're gonna get them on anything, at least let's make them a felon out of mortgage fraud. At least we're gonna put these people behind bars. I mean, this is white collar crime, but it's still jailable offenses. It's felony charges. So, but Adam Schiff's got more things to worry about than that. I mean, he's got all this leaking stuff that he was doing during closed door meetings and that during the first Trump administration, and he's a pathological liar. Maybe it's because his neck is so thin and he's got this big huge head on there, it just doesn't have enough blood flow to get up to the brain. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm just speculating on that, but that would be, I would assume something, just not enough blood flow, not enough oxygen to the brain, and the elevator don't go to the top floor in that dude's head. So, but yeah, it, she admitted this dumb bitch. She admitted it and said it was a clerical error. Well, it's not a clerical error when you know, we've matched your fucking signatures saying that they were both your primary residence. And of course, we're going to scream racism, scream that this ain't right, and oh, she's the first black woman to sit on the Federal Reserve Board in its 111-year history. I don't give two fucks. You're probably a DEI hire. Again, the affirmative action just got replaced with DEI. When the Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action, especially in universities, we went to DEI. It's still the same thing. You're still giving people higher education or better jobs based on their skin color or sexual preference rather than by merit. And that is racist. I don't care who you are, what color you are. I will work with anybody. I've worked with lots of different minorities that are considered minorities. I don't have a problem with it. As long as you're doing your job and you're not making me work extra to cover your ass, to fix your mistakes, especially like factory work, even working on cars, you know, I don't care. As long as, yeah, do a good job. That's what I want you to do. That's all. I don't want you here because of, boss man said that we have to hire X amount of this color and this color and this color. That's stupid. That's prejudice. It's racist. Any direction you look at that, any direction. But of course, it's always trying to go against white people because we are inherently the enemies, and I'm not the enemy. Far from it. Everybody has the same opportunities that I have here. You know, stay in school and read, research, uh, you know, little things. You see something. Well, now you have this phone that has all this technology on it that you can look it up and explore and learn more about certain things, like how an excavator works. You're walking down the street and you see construction workers working on something. They're digging a hole with an excavator. Well, why do we do this? Why do we have these bulldozers? Different shit like that. Gets you interested, makes you smarter. But I kind of got off subject there. But yeah, we're always going to throw up the race card when there's somebody a minority involved, and especially if it had to do with Trump. If this was the other way around and this was Biden firing her, nobody'd have a fucking problem. If it was Obama that fired her, nobody'd have a fucking problem. But because it's Trump, we got a fucking problem. They wouldn't have had a problem if it was George Bush. W or HW. You know? So it's more race baiting bullshit, but she's fighting being fired again. All these people in the executive, under the executive branch, have tried to fight this. These have gone to the Supreme Court. He's the boss of the executive branch. If you are in the executive branch, he can fire you. He can go in there and fire. He can fire generals if he wants to, even though they're under control of Hegseth. He's actually the one who's in charge. He could have fired the CDC director, not have her resign or have Kennedy ask her to resign. Just the way it is. But it's the most scrutinized position. You got to scrutinize all of the president's help, but we can't scrutinize any of the representatives or senators' staff, helpers, any of the Supreme Courts. So fair's fair. I would like to see more vetting of what these congressional people are hiring. They're not hiring the best people. We've seen some of them. AOC's staff have been starting to get in trouble. So It is what it is, but fuck. Yes, I drink milk. Big fan of milk. Big fan of cheese. Ice cream. I love dairy. Actually, I like everything there is to do with beef. So and cattle. So that's my fraud part of this. Um, I guess we need to jump into this bullshit in Minnesota. Another school shooting. Um, and it's another troon. LGBTQ one dude wanted to become a woman. Now I guess he's has gone on and said that you know I regret it. A lot of people do. That's why you have a high suicide rate, high homicidal rate. Hey, we've got a bunch of our last mass shootings like this, the ones that get reported. Uh, it's been a lot of trans. I mean, we're still not counting. Um, we don't talk about mass shootings in Chicago where. Pull this up here real quick where they've got. Yeah, we had one incident this year in Chicago where 18 people were shot in one incident. I heard it on the news for like 20 seconds on the radio. Not much popped up on social media. Oh, that's because it's black on black crime. Yeah, this is another trans that targeted a Catholic school. And I guess the biggest thing that I take away from a lot of this, uh, and it's this one, and at least this one, we actually got the manifesto out pretty damn fast compared to the one in Tennessee. These were both targeted Christian schools because they're Christian. Now, this guy hated everybody, it seems. Except for freeing Palestine. He did not like Donald Trump. He did not like Israel. Uh, he didn't say free Palestine. Of course, right off the bat. Oh, this is Donald Trump's world. We have school shootings. Well, at least this is going to get investigated a little bit more. I mean, the person did take their own life, did kill an 8-year old and a 10-year old. My heart goes out to these people. This guy had an infatuation with other school shooters from Columbine through Adam Lanza to, you know, all of them. I got a cat that just decided to come up and visit. But as you can see here, kill Donald Trump. Yeah. This is 17-year-olds that are changed, tried changing his name, legally changed, whatever. But um, my cat wants to get up here. I wanted to go someplace. No, allegedly wrote, and no, he did. You know, here's the LGBTQ stuff. I hate showing this guy's name, and his manifesto was cryptic at, at best. I mean, this stuff is it it's using Cyrillic language, which is Russian, but just for letters, not the whole words and stuff. Um, but as you can see, this kill kill pedos, but yet he wanted to kill children. He had wanted them as a soft target. He knew it had to be during school because if he did it before or after during pickups and drop offs, that the more parents there that sees it, the more chances that he's going to get taken out fast because he assumed everybody else was armed. At least the parents dropping their kids off or picking their kids up, which I encourage. Minnesota's laws are pretty decent when it comes to concealed carry, so I know I can. Mine doesn't 100% work up there. I just have to do a shooting test, and then I'd be fine. But that different subject needs to be dealt with. But so so long, and thanks for all the fish. That's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Kind of hilarious. But this guy was oh my god, just just Looney Tunes, and you wonder, okay, he's this loony. This is the reason why Trump doesn't want him on these people in our military. When you have that high a suicide rate, I don't want you there either. But you got the mayor going out there. Um, where did I have that? Where is that? Oh shit! I think I just got rid of it. Fuck. Just a second here. My cat is doing weird shit. Damn it. Anyway, he went on and oh, this actually play. I call bullshit on that, but this guy he's quite the fucking actor. He is quite the fucking actor. Because this is him at George Floyd's fucking funeral. Yeah, he was gonna be the next astronaut. Oh, he was just passing physics right now. He was gonna be smarter than Stephen Hawkins. It was just a little relapse that he was on fentanyl and meth and passing counterfeit bills and his heart explodes. Yeah, this guy is a fucking quack, but you're just a fucking. I'm trying to get to. And Minnesota they have red flag laws up there, and it never fit anything. I mean, the dude legally bought the guns, so and there, yes, yes, and I'm proud of that. I think more people should be carrying. I think more people. I think there should be no gun-free zones. That's what these people prey on. All your school shootings, all your church shootings, your um, a lot of these mass shootings that make the news, unlike the ones in Chicago that aren't going to make the fucking news because or Baltimore or L.A. or Atlanta, take your pick. We're not going to put those on there because it doesn't fit a narrative. We can't push gun control. And when it comes to black and black crime, it's something that's been. I had heard the other day, somebody was talking about the Chicago gangs, and it was like in the late 80s, in mid 80s or so, that they'd wake up in the morning and go down an alley, and here's a crate full of weapons, whole bunch of guns, fully autos and that, all the serial numbers scratched off. They don't know where they came from, but they got free guns. But it's just like all these protests from 2020, the BLM riots and the Summer of Love riots, the peaceful protests as shit's burning up. The insurrection in Portland at the federal courthouse, what was 90 plus days of under fire and siege. Nobody got arrested and put in prison for that bullshit. But um, yeah, the Summer of Love. Uh, we didn't talk about all that shit. You know, we had uh, pallets being dispersed of bricks. We saw that in D.C. and New York and a lot of these bigger cities in Seattle, Portland. Well, the whole Summer of Love, yeah, they pallets of bricks kept showing up. That nobody knows where the fuck they came from. So again, we have enough gun laws. That's the first thing you got to blame on this. Obviously, is the tool. And I really hate the term assault rifle. I want to correct every motherfucker that says assault rifle. You can't have uh, oh, god damn it, I just forgot my fucking English for once. Holy crap. Assault is is an action. A rifle is a tool. It's a noun. You can't have an action doing a noun. It's improper English to label a gun as an assault rifle. Just like it'd be wrong to call it an assault knife, but here we are. We still have people calling them assault rifles. Uh, and an assault rifle, I guess, that by definition is anything that's long, black, and scary. So, because I swear they would call a musket an assault rifle if they could get away with it. But our Second Amendment is the only amendment that says shall not be infringed. 4 words. Shall not be infringed. But it's the most infringed on right that we have. So, is that fair? No. We have enough gun laws in place. Shit can happen. I'm not saying that it can't. Shit can happen. I don't like it when shit happens like that, but it does. Um, again, we can get through that if we get rid of soft targets. It's what military hits first is soft targets, least resistance. Make everything. Yes. Are we the Wild West? You goddamn right we are. We should be the Wild West across this whole country. You know who else has most citizens armed? Switzerland. Guess what they don't have? High crime. We have a lot of guns in this country, but not a lot of owners. There's a difference. A lot of people own more than one firearm or weapon. I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I don't. But if you want to say I have weapons, I'm going to tell you I had a tragic boating accident. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're going to first blame the guns, and there's so many guns. Yeah. No. No, see, we need to pump those numbers up. If we've got a good, decent job, we could be doing about maybe what, two or three a month. I mean, that's the great thing about our country. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right to protect ourselves, and a lot of us are gun enthusiasts. This is what America was founded on. We won our independence because we wore out the British in the long run because of our tenacity and because of our understanding our weaponry so much better than a lot of trained military from Britain and beyond. This is what helped win the Wild West. This is what helped protect you from, yes, even Native Americans, but some slack on that. So be it. So be it. But no, again, you're misconstruing that. Yeah, we have a lot more guns than we do have people, but the numbers actually look a little bit different than that because there's 100 million people probably owning those close to a trillion weapon or a billion weapons. So, eh. But yeah, it's easy to buy. We do have background checks. You still have to fill out the form. That's what got Hunter Biden in trouble because he had admitted in emails and shit that he was in videos and photos that he was hooked on fucking crack at the time that he purchased a weapon. And that's on the questionnaire. Are you addicted to any substances? Now, they do include marijuana and cocaine and heroin, blah, blah, blah. Alcohol is not on there for some goddamn reason. And Colin Noir was talking about this. You know, alcohol is proven to be, alcohol and guns don't mix very well. Not too many high people or people that are smoking weed or going out to rob somebody. Most of the time they're trying to rob a fridge. But that's a whole different subject in general. But again, we're constricting gun laws because of substances. But it is not, it's pretty easy to get a gun depending on which state you live in. But it also can be kind of hard to get a gun. So, yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't talk about that's not on the questionnaire if you're sane or not. But this is where it gets back to where's RFK on this? And I hope I didn't get rid of that. He was regretting transitioning. Yeah, I don't know what I did with that one. Um, Actually, it was on Gateway. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Yeah. Of course, everybody's going nuts about this. Big Pharma. He's again. What's going on? I mean, why do we have this whole trans thing movement? Um, is it vaccines? Is it this? Is it that? There's a lot of different factors. The vaccines aren't helping us, not one little bit. Um, and of course, oh, you're anti-vax. Well, I like statistics. I like to be shown data, and the data shows that the more vaccines that we've gotten, the more mental disorders we're getting. You know, it, that's a driving factor. But there's other things in there too. I mean, our food supply's been tainted for 30, 40 years now, easily, not beforehand. You know, you might go to your doctor, and your doctor tells you, well, you're gluten intolerant. You got to eat a gluten free diet from now on. Okay, now go over to Europe and eat bread over there. You're not going to have the same problems. It's because we over process our wheat and make it actually more harmful to you to to make shelf lives longer. So we're getting poisoned by medication, by that stuff, and then these vaccines that have all kinds of weird shit into them. A lot of uh, unknowns to them. And the funny thing is everybody's like, well, they're safe and effective. Well, if they're that fucking safe and effective, why the fuck is there a vaccine court that nobody really knows about that pays out billions of dollars a year to vaccine injured people? Because remember back in the 80s, when we were starting to get a push for vaccines, the pharmaceutical companies wanted something and they got it. They got immunity. So now we can put out these vaccines. Now, remember way back, we had smallpox vaccines. There was an incident where they had a vaccine out for smallpox, 6 people died, and the CDC shut the whole thing down. They didn't give anybody else more shots after they had figured out that 6 people had died. They shut it down. Now you could have 100,000 people die, and we're going to blame it on something else entirely. With these vaccines, and especially these mRNA vaccines, we don't know the long-term effects of them. We are still technically in the test trial phase 3 of the trials, but they were given emergency usage. And again, we had to change the definition of a vaccine to actually, well, it's a nootropic. It's not even nootropic. It's an inoculation that's not going to. They can't prove that it's going to lessen your symptoms. It doesn't. They can't. It. You can still get it. You can't. You can still transmit it. But then again, it's just a fucking cold to start off with. But these vaccines, you've seen all these coroners and stuff going through talking about all these fibrous clots. My dad, he was. I know he had two, at least two, maybe the booster by the time he passed away. Um, the night before he went, he had five 5 strokes in one night, and the doctor looked at me and said, looked me straight in the eyes and said, and we don't understand why, because he was on 3 different types of blood thinners. What? Okay. Well, I know why. He was vaccinated. Well, and by this time we had already started to get good list of some of the uh, side effects off of these vaccines, and we'd already known about the fibrous clots. So you're on blood thinners and you still have a stroke? Come on. His blood pressure wasn't even that high anyway and stuff. It made no sense why he would have had a stroke, except for the fact that he'd been vaccinated. I chose not to have autopsy for reasons, um, but yeah, are we over medicating people, especially these psychiatric drugs? We talk about mental illness, but where are our psychologists and psychiatrists? Why are you enabling these people to go along with this whole fucking trans ideology, this gender dysphoria? That's the mental disorder when you these kids, you're 18, 19, whatever, and you're coming out and saying, oh, I'm trans. Because that's where the psychiatrist needs to sit down, and we've bastardized all that shit. My dad was a psychologist, and he had nothing even close to the shit that I knew growing up that he taught. And that's where it needs to start. We need to get these people mental help then, instead of encouraging them. Oh, or you do feel like a girl and trapped in a man's body. Well, here, I can kind of help you out. Here's a doctor that can write you a prescription. We'll get you on some hormone therapy, and the doctors go right along with it. These doctors have made millions of dollars off of this scam, and the ones that are dying before we can actually get justice for all the people that they've hurt know that there's a special place in fucking hell for these people, especially doing these operations like kids, castrating them, to cutting their boobs off. It's stupid to be giving them hormone therapy, to not let their body naturally develop. No, I mean, there's a very rare cases that you can convince me it's nothing but a mental disorder. And I mean rare cases, that's less than 1% chance in the world. But these doctors that are just in the pockets of pharmaceutical, doing whatever they want because they get kickbacks. We've seen the kickbacks that they were getting on the vaccines. If you have so many people of your patient list vaccinated and blah blah blah, will you get X amount of money? It's the same thing goes with the chemo industry, chemotherapy, which is a farce. The only thing chemotherapy gives you is cancer. Everybody should stop chemo, but these doctors get paid to write prescriptions for that. There's safer ways to rid yourself of cancer than poisoning your body like that. I mean, Pfizer's been in business now for like what, 160 years, and they have yet to cure one fucking disease. Can't cure people. If we cure people, we lose customers. So, but then at the same point in time, push abortions too. But um, another thing this dumb fucking Pasaki said, uh, these people were praying, and she said prayer is not freaking enough. Prayers do not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayer does not bring these kids back enough with the thoughts and prayers. Again, attacking Christianity, just like this fucking dipshit. I don't want to pull his fucking picture back up again. I don't want to give him credit. This is what that kid wanted. He wanted all the credit. He wanted his name to be famous. So we don't talk about it. We do need thoughts and prayers. Prayers do help. And, but this is another attack on Christianity. Again, if this was a synagogue or a mosque and it was little Jewish kids or little little Muslims, little Islamists, whatever they are, uh, little kids, and this happened, this would be so much of a political uproar. But it's okay to do it to Christians because for some goddamn reason, Christians, like I said last week, we just lost our fucking backbone somewhere along the lines. I don't know if it had to do with the whole alignment of with Hitler or what have it, but Christians have become pussies, and that's not what we're supposed to be. I mean, you're still supposed to stand up for yourself. You could still be you. You don't have to be a pussy. So you don't need to mend your beliefs because of society wants you to mend your beliefs. You know, especially when it comes to like abortion and that, where it is rightfully murder. So, but we need help. We I was really stewing on this today. Um, how deep all this shit goes. How deep pharmaceutical to uh, Hollywood to our government to it's. I don't know if Trump does not have enough time to clean the swamp, to drain it. 8 years is not enough. Who's going to carry this torch to help get us back to where we should be? You know, late 1800s, early 1900s, turn of the century there, we were doing fantabulous. Uh, but a lot of shit changed. This progressivism made us lose sight of who we are and where we came from. The left wants you to forget history unless they can use it against you. For example, slavery. But you'll never hear him talk about my family's getting enslaved. Yeah, they're white. Yeah, they were Irish. Fucking England tried to wipe us off the face of the fucking earth. King Richard was not a good guy. Yeah, I think that was King Richard at the time. Talked about that in depth. Wait till I get to St. Patty's Day time period. Go off on the Irish slave trade. Oh, fuckity fuck. Yeah. I try not to take a lot of drugs, but unfortunately, I do take a couple um, for some weird reason. Uh, well, I have reasons, but I'm trying to work on getting out of them. I did get off of one, but it ended up screwing with me too much. So, uh, yeah, I go back to the point where yes, we do have mental health issues. We need to address, but then again, we need to address our whole psychiatric field, um, because they're nothing but a bunch of leftist kooks. I always ask my dad. I said, "What's the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist?" And a psychiatrist, they'll listen to your problems and they write your prescription to make you feel better. And psychology, we listen to you and we try to understand what's going on and we try to work the mind to make it things better in your life. Uh, so, and there's a whole bunch of different forms of psychology, just like psychiatry. But my dad taught educational and social psychology, which I sat in on a lot of classes over the years that he taught it during the summertime at a college here in town. So that he went to school at. So, but that's where that needs to start. Do the red flags laws work? Well, obviously they have red flag laws up there, and they don't work. Um, I go back to red flag laws that are unconstitutional to start off with. They do violate your Fourth Amendment rights. And I called Trump out on that as soon as he mentioned that in his first term. It's like, no fucking way. Nope, you can't do that, motherfucker. No. No, 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 no. So, um, what else was going on? Uh, yeah, that's Ed Markey. Ah, vaccines are safe, but RFK Jr. isn't. No, that's the reason why we have vaccine injury court. It's point proven. Points are proven. Um, there was something on here where the yeah. Of course, it's not the trans person problem. He had a gun. It's always a problem. This dipshit went on to say that, you know, first off, anybody who's using this as an opportunity to villainize trans people has completely lost touch with common humanity. Operate not off of hate for any community, operate off of love for our kids. Kids died today. This should be about protecting our children. Yeah. Okay, we're just pointing out the fact that this is another school shooting that was done by a trans that plotted this out and executed it. Okay, what did he do? There's nothing wrong with how he went about it. He was a law. He passed the background check to be able to buy a rifle, a handgun, and a shotgun. The handgun is the hardest one to get. So that's where a lot of the paperwork comes from, is buying handguns, not rifles or shotguns. But we need to have everybody needs to be armed. We need to think that these people are constantly armed. And these trans people, again, I'm sorry, but you have a mental disorder. If I was selling you a gun, if I was a licensed firearm dealer, and you came in looking like a girl, dressed up like a girl, but you're a dude, you're a fucking transvestite, you're J. Edgar Hoover, you're Hoover in it. Uh, I'm not going to sell you a gun. And then again, I, as a business owner, would have the right to refuse service to anybody. The Supreme Court has had to reiterify this when it came to the gay couple and then the trans couple and baking a wedding cake. So, yeah, it is still not a guns problem. This person had fantasized about doing a mass killing he could have easily had gone in there with a freaking machete. Think of how much damage he could have done with a machete. We see that happen all over Europe. So, um, we'll get off the subject. I'm fatigued with all these fucking people too. And I think my headset's off. Okay. But yeah, we should know who you are. I should know all of my customers come in. Yeah, you should have known I was a vegan. Next time they should research the influencer who's booking to eat. So you want a restaurant now? You call up a restaurant. Hi, yeah, I'd like to make a reservation for one at 7 o'clock tonight. Okay, great. Okay, I'll be there. Now you expect you. My name is Jaja Binks. Okay, so now that person's supposed to have took that the maitre d or whatever. We'll say it's an even fancier one that has a maitre d. It says now he's got to get on his little computer there. Who is this person? Are they famous? What do they do? No. You got more other things to do. You come in, you order food. This bitch orders a chicken salad sandwich. Chicken salad, not sandwich, chicken salad, and expected the owners, the people, to know that she didn't want chicken on it. She just wanted a salad with Caesar dressing. So she ordered the chicken because it came that way. Stupidity. Luckily, I mean, she sounds British, but and that sounds British. So I don't have a lot of experience seeing these people out in the open. Thank God I don't go out and do anything. I have literally went to work this morning, came home, walked my dog, and I'm not going to be going anywhere tonight because why? I don't like going out with these people. I don't want to run into that shit. So, you know, eh, it is what it is. It is. Yes. Example, we should be arming the teachers, get the loud ones, librarians, shh, silence them, silence them, silence them. I didn't hear this one. People. Okay. What? What? 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before I eat. You know, I've met a lot of people in my life. Then it's amazing that they could talk to you and I feel brain cells just go pss, pss. It's so stupid. I have brain cells that commit suicide. I swear, from stupidity like this shit. You know, it's um. I'll leave you with a funny here. Uh, he don't want nothing to do with his kid. He knocked up the neighbor's dog, and no, that's not my kid. No, 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 that's not my kid. Beautiful, beautiful puppies. This was a sad story. Um, Yeah, let's leave on this. This has been around for a while. This is the most ultimate fuck around and find out, bitch. See what happens. I don't open carry. I don't want people to know that I'm carrying. I want people to assume that I'm carrying. I assume that for every 10 people I see, there's at least 2 or 3 that are armed when I'm just out going to the grocery store or whatever, gas station. I feel pretty confident in that. Go ahead. Pepper spray me if I carry it on my hip and you see it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's not a threat. It's just, it's reality. I mean, you poke a bear, you're gonna get bit. So, well, I think we can wrap that up today. I don't know. I might come on this weekend. I might not. I keep talking about it. Keep talking about, maybe we just get on here. We bullshit a little bit. We play some Minecraft. Got stuff going up in here. Um, yeah. So, but anyway, don't let people fuck around and find out on you. Uh, Gary. Anyway, we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. This is never seems to fail. We always got something new and interesting to talk about every single day because something new and stupid comes up and voila. And leave it to the Dems. They're nothing but fucking stupidity. So we'll call that. And alrighty, we'll talk to you guys all next time. See you later. Next Tuesday, 6:45. I'm gonna get this posted on X, and we'll go from there. Alrighty.